welcome everybody to Fitness Friday. My name is Emily.
And my name is Ayla, and we are your Myzone Master Trainers. Happy Fitness Friday.
Yes, we are very excited to be here today. We've got something good planned for you. You want to take it away?
We do, yes, our overview for today. We've got a lot of great information, so we have our script handy, so we're giving you the good stuff. So we're going to cover today a submaximal heart rate assessment. And you can do this with your client or with yourself using your Myzone heart rate monitor. Today Emily is going to be the client and I am going to be the trainer. And we're assessing the following. First, we're looking at the accuracy of Emily's predicted maximal heart rate in the Myzone system by comparing her submaximal heart rate to her rate of perceived exertion. We're going to show you a cool chart in just a little bit. And then we're also looking at Emily's heart rate recovery over 1 minute following the submaximal assessment.
So if you have a Myzone heart rate monitor, you know that Myzone does estimate your maximal heart rate, and it's going to be accurate for most users. However, for some people, and depending on how long you've been training, etc., you might have to adjust your Myzone heart rate, maximal heart rate in your Myzone system.
Exactamundo. So rate of perceived exertion is what we're going to use to compare with submaximal heart rate that we're monitoring using the Myzone system in the background. So rate of perceived exertion is your overall level of exertion, how you feel the intensity of your exercises overall. And that's measured on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very light and 10 being very, very hard. Emily's going to grab a chart that's going to show you. So here's the scale. So you can see the top here, 9 and 10 are very, very hard, 8 very hard, 7 hard, 6 moderate, and then 5 down to 1 are light and very light. What's cool about rate of perceived exertion is that it should relate to what we see in submaximal heart rate. So if Emily's rate of perceived exertion is around a 6 or a 7, then I would expect that her Myzone tile is showing a blue or a green between 60 and 69 or 70 and 79% max heart rate.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So today what we're going to do, as Ayla mentioned, is she's going to be my trainer. I will be her client. We're going to go through the 3-minute YMCA 3-minute step test. And so I'm going to be stepping on a step. It's very simple. All you need is to have your heart rate monitor, to have a timer, to have a metronome, which is going to give us how fast I should be stepping, and then a 12-inch step. And that's it.
Yep, and I've set the metronome on my phone just using an app. It's that easy. And it's set at 96 beats per minute. So Emily will be able to hear it stepping up, up, down, down. Let's do this.
Exactly. Yeah, so as I step, Ayla is going to ask me how I'm feeling. Every minute for the 3 minutes, she'll take my heart rate as well as my rate of perceived exertion. And then at the end of the test, I'll sit down to rest immediately. After a minute of my recovery, Ayla will take my heart rate again as well as my RPE, and then we'll talk about what all of that means.
While you walk back to the step, I'm just going to show these guys. This is a little sheet that I have prepared with my client's name, the date, and the time of the assessment. And then I've got the Myzone heart rate zone that she's in, her actual heart rate in beats per minute, her rate of perceived exertion, and any notes that I feel are necessary. So I'm going to quick grab Emily's heart rate and rate of perceived exertion before we even start. And then I'll be assessing each minute for 3 minutes, as Emily said, and then her 1 minute recovery at the end. Let's see how we go. Are you ready, Emily?
I'm ready.
Tell me right now on this scale, because I like to have it handy so that my client can see it. What's your rate of perceived exertion right now at this moment?
A 1.
Okay, great. A 1. And your heart rate in beats per minute is 70. Okay, are you ready to begin?
I'm ready.
I'm going to start the metronome, and then when you're ready, you can start stepping.
Okay, here we go.
Can you hear that okay?
Yep.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Em. You can give her a little love, pals. And you could even offer hearts to the beat of the metronome if you want. It'd be pretty sweet. Emily's doing a great job of staying on target. I find that a lot of clients tend to get ahead of the metronome, but Emily is a rock star.
Thank you.
She's staying right on it. Okay. perceived exertion right now?
Like a 4.
A 4, okay?
Not too high. Yet.
Okay.
Oh, this step is feeling like it's getting taller and taller
Yes.
with each step.
And your heart rate is going up.
Good. I'm glad.
And you'll notice we're keeping the heart rate behind Emily, so she's able to see it because we're broadcasting and she can see it in the camera. But typically you would want to blind your client of their heart rate so they can't really see what's happening with their heart rate so that they're not trying to manipulate or affect their heart rate. You're just assessing it as the assessment goes on. And you can see I'm recording as we go. It's almost time to check in again. Emily?
Yes.
What is your rate of perceived exertion on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say a 5 right now.
A 5. Okay. Things that I would take note of would be things like Emily's breathing. How does she look? She looks beautiful. And different things that you might notice about your client as they're performing this assessment. One thing I would note is that Emily placed her hands on her hips so that when we do this assessment again, she puts her hands on her hips again. You have 1 more minute to go in.
Okay. I don't know if you guys saw me back here stumble a little bit. So if I'm stumbling, because I looked away for just a second to look at you guys, think about that with your clients, right? If you have someone that you're training who maybe has a balance issue, make sure that they are fully able to take a big step up all the way to the bench, and their heel makes contact with the bench as well.
Emily, what is your rate of perceived exertion right now?
6.
A 6. Okay. You've got another 15 seconds to go, and then we're going to have you take a seat and get your 1 minute recovery.
Great.
So you can see that Emily has progressed from the gray zone up into the blue zone and is now in the green zone. Her heart rate was 149 beats per minute when I last checked in. Okay, Emily, take a seat, and you're going to recover for 1 minute. So now I'm going to be watching, always watching my client to make sure that they're doing okay, but watching now heart rate. What's your rate of perceived exertion right now, Em?
A 3.
Okay. So that's a bonus rate of perceived exertion. I'm just kind of checking in as her heart rate recovers. She's now about 30 seconds into her recovery, and you can see how fit Emily is because she's already back in the gray zone, recovered down significantly. So she's gone from 149 beats per minute at her peak, now down to 94, which is a very quick recovery. It shows that she's very fit from a cardiorespiratory perspective. Okay, Em, we've got like 5 seconds to go.
Okay.
So she's back in the gray. Wow. Nice recovery, Em.
Thank you.
How do you feel? Rate of perceived exertion right now?
2.
A 2. Okay, so I'm just going to show this chart. This is how Emily did. Zone. She went from gray to blue to green, back down to gray. Her heart rate in beats per minute went from 70 up to 149, back down to 75 within 1 minute. And her rate of perceived exertion climbed 1, 4, 5, 6 down to a 2. And I just made a few notes that she had her hands on her hips, and then in that last minute she was speaking quite a bit, which might have affected her heart rate going up. So let's digest this a little bit, shall we? If you find that your client's rate of perceived exertion is higher than their percentage of maximal heart rate, then you may need to adjust their maximal heart rate down in the system. So for example, if your client said that their rate of perceived exertion was like an 8 out of 10, but they were in the blue zone, which is 60 to 69%, their max heart rate probably needs to be lowered down in the Myzone system. It's probably estimated a little bit too high. On the flip side of that, if your client's rate of perceived exertion is low, like a 3, 4, 5, 6, and their percentage of maximal heart rate is high, like they're in the yellow and the red zone, then you might need to adjust their maximum heart rate up. It might be predicted too low in the system and you need to elevate it up.
Yeah, and just keep in mind that if you're a trainer or a club owner and you have access to your partner login through Myzone, you can manually adjust maximal heart rate for your members and clients. If you are a member or client watching this morning, thanks for joining in. Make sure that you ask your trainer or club owner, your gym staff, about adjusting your max heart rate.
Exactly. You might want to wait until after you've performed a few workouts or a few assessments like this to make adjustments in the Myzone system, because it's a trial and error. It's a trial and error protocol as far as you go through a few workouts, you see if you feel like the Myzone system is accurately displaying how you feel as compared to what's showing on your Myzone tile. So not necessarily to make the adjustment immediately, but maybe give it a few workouts or a few assessments like we just did.
Absolutely. When we have clients who come and ask us about adjusting their max heart rate, we usually want them to try it out a few times and then we'll make the adjustment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you already talked about the Myzone system automatically updating, or is that what you're
I didn't.
Right
I was just going to say, what's really cool about Myzone is that it will automatically bring your max heart rate up as you become more fit or as you hit a new maximal heart rate and you're going above the max that is currently set for you. If you hold that number above that max for at least 10 seconds, Myzone automatically adjusts your max heart rate up. So that part's already taken care of, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really a nice feature. Another thing that we assessed was heart rate recovery. You saw that at the end we had Emily sit down. That's a passive recovery versus an active recovery where she would have kept moving. She sat down, and you can use your Myzone heart rate monitor to then see how much you or your client has recovered over 1 minute. That's really a nice thing that you can track over time. So if, for example, Emily's heart rate had recovered down this time by 10 beats per minute during that minute, and then I do a follow-up assessment 4 or 5 weeks from now, and her heart rate had come down 15 or 20 beats per minute in that 1 minute heart rate recovery, that's an indication that Emily's cardiorespiratory fitness has improved the efficiency of her system because her heart rate is recovering more efficiently in that 1 minute of time.
Yeah, we just had a wonderful question, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your name. Someone had asked us if she's a senior citizen and her maximal heart rate recently adjusted up to 210 beats per minute. So, and she was asking if that's normal. We would have to know a little bit more information about your specific case and how your training is and all that good stuff, but it does sound like that might be a little bit high.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe go through a test like this, or even just in the classes that you take or during your workouts, check to see if your rate of perceived exertion matches what your Myzone belt is telling you for your percentage of maximal heart rate. Does how you feel match the zone you're in?
Exactamundo.
Perfect.
Okay, so stay tuned on myzone.org because we've got a blog coming out that's going to give you another submaximal heart rate recovery assessment that you can use with your clients. And this is an assessment that you could use in group fitness settings as well as personal training settings. This one that we did today is pretty specific to a personal training setting, and it'd be a nice intake assessment to do with a new client.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. If you want to know more about Myzone, we're all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, clearly. And then check out myzone.org for the blog that Ayla and I contribute to, as well as to find out how to buy your own Myzone belt. Mother's Day is coming up.
Up soon.
Hey, maybe that's an option.
Yeah, buy a belt for mom.
Yeah.
Right? What a great Mother's Day gift.
Yeah.
Okay, we're here every Friday for Fitness Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and all over the whole wide world.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you for those cute purple hearts. We love it. We will see you next week. And always remember to keep moving forward. Bye, guys.
It's a
There we go.